Mr. Asare, when you say two wrongs don't make a right, would like to really appreciate that. Are you saying that what has happened with the removal is a wrong that she shouldn't retaliate or not seek recourse for?
I'm not saying the removal, was wrong. It has support, under the Constitution, so it was right. And the president, owes it as an obligation to act upon the recommendation of the committee. And if the committee recommended the removal of the Chief Justice, the president will have no choice, but to act upon the recommendation of the committee in accordance with Article 146, Clause 9 of the Constitution. But what I'm saying is that the president has acted swiftly in accepting the recommendation and therefore deciding to remove the Chief Justice. The former Chief Justice ought not, to be swayed, by the speed with which the whole process terminated, in her removal, so as to, organize press conferences and try to explain her position this way or that way. That's what, I mean. She should accept it and exit, in a dignified manner.
Because I was going to come to that. Seeing as she had concerns with this whole process, she organized a press conference where she sought to also tell her side of the story and punch holes into the whole process that was going on. She moved a notch higher and has taken the matter to a higher court outside of the jurisdiction. And so this looks like a person who is bent on saving face, who is bent on protecting her reputation. And so wouldn't you think that it would be right that for her, she saves her reputation regardless of the outcome of the committee's work?
Well, the Constitution has spoken, and she must accept it. If she accepts the fact that until some few hours ago, she was the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, then she must accept the decision, the determination made by the president, pursuant to the recommendation the committee set up, made, in that the committee recommended the removal of the Chief Justice, meaning that the committee upheld the propriety of the allegations made, and therefore, as far as the committee is concerned, there was some wrongdoing. We've not been told of the nature and gravity of the wrongdoing, but because the language of the Constitution in Article 146, Clause 1 is that a justice of the Superior Court, may be removed or shall be removed only upon stated misbehavior. Maybe the committee, found a misbehavior, and therefore on that ground recommended the removal of the Chief Justice. What I should like to suggest, is a middle way. The Chief Justice, remains a justice of the Supreme Court. And we are not told, whether the decision to remove her, includes or affects her position as a justice, of the Supreme Court, which I think not, because if you look at the language of Article 146, 5 and Article 146, 6, 7 and 9, you see that the two, have been separated. They are separate and distinct. In the case of the removal of a justice of the Superior Court, the recommendation is, of the committee is forwarded, to the Chief Justice, who would then, forward it to the President. That is, what Article 146, 5 says. But in the case of the Chief Justice, Article 146 7 says that the committee appointed under clause 6 of this article shall inquire into the petition and recommend to the president whether the Chief Justice ought to be removed from office. Then, interestingly, and this is where we had a Cat 22, Article 146 clause 9 provides as follows, quote, the president shall in each case act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee in each case. So the expression in each case appearing in Article 146(9), is referable to the case or the recommendation, or the recommendation in the case of the removal of a justice of the Superior Court, and then 1467 in the case of a Chief Justice. So those two are separate and distinct. The Chief Justice was not to be investigated, for any wrongdoing as a justice of the Superior Court. No, the allegations pertained to her high office of Chief Justice. So we should limit ourselves, to her position as Chief Justice, and not her position as the Justice of the Supreme Court. The two are distinct, and we should draw a line between the two so that we don't throw the baby at the bathwater.